Okay, so for the month of January, we talked all about how to take hold of paper clutter. And for the month of February, I'm going to be doing a series. This is the first episode in that series. Every Saturday, I'll be posting a video all about some of my favorite technological things that we use in our family and in our homeschooling. So I'm really excited to do that, to kind of show you the flip side of all of the paper talk. And today we're talking about Amazon Alexas and our Echo Dots and things like that, and how we use that in our life, just our day-to-day life, and our homeschooling, and my top 10 favorite ways to use that. We'll be talking a lot about homeschooling, but even if you don't homeschool, this perfect video is still to watch if you have kids and have this device, because there are a lot of great tips that's going to apply all the way across the board. So let's get started. A lot of great things that your kids can learn from Alexa, but just like the internet, it requires safety and boundaries. And just to give you a little tidbit, next week we're going to be talking about an app that we have started using to help secure our kids when it comes to the internet and iPads and tablets and phones and things like that. So be sure to hit subscribe to my channel so that you guys don't miss out on that, because I promise it's going to be a great video talking about internet safety with kids. But on this topic, Alexa doesn't have exactly all those features. They do have a kid mode and a kid version if you want to do so. But even then, I still don't want my kids to have the freedom to ask Alexa anything. And especially with kids' voices, it can be hard for Alexa to understand exactly what they're asking. So because of that, we do have some rules set aside. Only mom and dad are allowed to change settings on Alexa, such as the volume, muting Alexa, those kinds of things. And then kids have to ask permission from us before they can talk to or ask Alexa anything. And then if they're going to ask to play music or something like that, if they're going to change what they're doing with Alexa, they have to run it by us as well. And this is just sort of a safeguard that we have in place just to make sure everything goes well. And I would recommend you doing so as well. So just be aware that that is something that you're going to want to do. You can also set some adjustments. So if you have Amazon Prime Music, you can make sure that it won't play any explicit versions of songs and things like that. But I just don't trust all of those features to work perfectly. And there's still things that, while they may not fall in that category, might still be things I don't want my kids to hear. So just take that with a grain of salt and decide what kind of rules you want to set aside for your family, and make sure you discuss it with your kids before you start using it. But it is a great tool. So let's get started with the top 10 things that we like to use our Amazon Alexa for. So start with the most obvious reasons first, kind of working my way. Number 10 is definitely by far my favorite reasons, and the ones that are probably least talked about. So make sure you watch till the end. But number 1 is we like to listen to audiobooks on it. It might seem obvious, but listening to audiobooks has become a big favorite in our family during quiet times, at night before bed, those kinds of things. And so having Alexa on there, I can just pull up any book on my Audible account, and you don't even have to have Audible as a subscription. You can have purchased audiobooks through Audible. There's some great websites that tell you when they have different classics, children's classics on sale for like 99 cents and things like that. And I will drop links to that website below, the one that I use, to find those great deals. But I snag those deals all the time and just have them on my Audible account. So reason number 2 is along those lines, listening to music. I've mentioned before how we love to use music for review. We love to have praise and worship songs, scripture memory songs, catechism songs playing while we're just doing our schoolwork, or again, that downtime. And so having that and being able to play that anywhere. We also have multiple Alexas. So we have 3 in our house, and I can play it on just one in one room, or I can play it through everywhere, which is a really nice feature. Reason number 3 that we like to use it in our homeschooling is to kind of gather the troops. If you've been a homeschool mom for long, you know that if you have multiple children, they tend to take the opportunity to scatter when they can. Working with one child on math and the other child is working on, English or whatever, and they finish, they just quietly slip out of the room and disappear, and you constantly are finding yourself gathering the troops. Or at least I am. Maybe that's just me. You guys can tell me in the comments if you guys have that problem as well. But I run into this issue all the time. And so being able to use the intercom feature, now this is something that you have to have more than one to do this with, but you can use the intercom feature and just call down. So we love using it for that, to just kind of gather the troops up. And along those lines, you can also send out an announcement through the Amazon app. So I to the Alexa app, and I can choose announcement right here. And I can make an announcement like, hey, it's time to stop, drop, and read. And everybody's supposed to take that time to read a book or look through a book, or maybe it's time for dinner or time for bed, time for pickup, whatever it might be. But let me show you what it sounds like.
From Katie. Stop, drop, and read.
So see, it's as simple as that. What I like about that is with the intercom system, you're talking back and forth, and it can sometimes be a little hard to hear depending on what's going on the other end. But with this announcement, Alexa just makes it in her own voice, and she makes it all throughout the house, through every Alexa, and lets them know whatever message that I need them to know. I can also set that up if I'm working with one child or whatever, and I can't take the time to stop and talk. I can just sort of text that out and send it out to the whole house. So just another feature there. Reason number 4 is for writing helps. So I don't know if you know this, but you can actually ask Alexa to spell different words. Alexa, spell rhinoceros.
Rhinoceros is spelled R-H-I-N-O-C-E-R-O-S.
So asking that, or asking a dictionary to look up a word, to look up synonyms as a thesaurus, whatever it might be, you can use these things, or your kids can use these things to help you when they're working on writing assignments. So all the time, my kids are still in that beginning stage of spelling, and they're constantly interrupting and saying, Mom, 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 how do I spell this word? And I definitely want to give them the correct spelling when I can, but when I'm working with so many other kids, sometimes I'm not able to just stop right there and spell words to them. So then they're able to go and ask Alexa to help with that. Reason number 5 is when we are doing our readings, we do a lot of read alouds, and a lot of times we'll come across words or concepts, events in history that the kids are unfamiliar with, and so I will usually ask in that moment to look up more information on that from Alexa. You can also ask for specific facts. You can say, Alexa, tell me a fact about sharks.
Whale sharks are the world's biggest shark.
And you can do that with any kind of animal at all, and some other topics as well. And so you can do it for looking up specific information or just to get fun facts, again, when you're doing writing curriculum or just for new information for your kids. For 6, we like to use it as a timer or an alarm. There are so many times throughout the school day that I need to set timers and alarms. It might be for a timed math test. It might be for a task like you get this time on the tablet, and when the timer goes off, you're going to your sibling's going to get on now. For piano practice, for getting time to help with the babies, we rotate kids to help with the little ones while I'm homeschooling the other ones, and so setting a timer for that lets them know. For a quiet time, whatever it might be, there are so many opportunities to set times for alarms or for timers, and so all you have to do is say, Alexa, set a timer for 60 seconds. So I like that has that feature as well. Number 7 is asking Alexa what happened on this day in history. You get all sorts of fun history facts. We like to throw that in a lot of times in our morning time. Oh, and there's my alarm. Alexa, stop. And we like to throw that in with our morning time as well, sometimes throwing in that little fun history fact for the day. Reason number 8, or thing number 8 that we like to use our Alexa for, is for adding lists, for shopping lists. So for curriculum, I try to pick things that are pretty much open and go, but there's always something. Maybe it's that we've run through the last of our glue or our markers, or maybe it's that I see that a science project is coming up and we need to get X, Y, and Z from the store. I can just say, Alexa, add glue to the shopping list.
Glue on your shopping list.
And then it pulls up on my phone when I'm at the store, so I know exactly what I need to get, and I can check from there as well. I do keep a paper shopping list for my grocery shopping a lot of times, but then any of the other incidentals that come up, toilet paper, dish soap, that kind of things, I put on the Alexa, and so it pulls up in the store. 9. This was kind of an unexpected favorite, but I don't know about you, but my kids ask me a million times a day, how many days until fill in the blank? And for a long time, it was how many days till their birthday, and it drove me absolute bananas because I either wouldn't answer them or I would have to go through and we would count each day on the calendar, and that's good practice, it is, but eventually it gets old. And so finally what I told them is they could ask Alexa, and but I made the caveat that they had to know what date they were asking for. So for their birthday, they can't just say, when's my birthday? Because Alexa doesn't know. So they had to learn what their birthday was. So this is how most of my kids learned their birthday early on, is they would say, Alexa, how many days till December 4th? Ask how many days for a lot of things. how many weeks are there until Christmas? How many whatever. So they were starting to correlate dates on the calendar. They would figure out what date they needed to find out and ask how many days until that date. And it's actually helped my kids have a really good understanding of days and time that they were really struggling with, and a great way for me not to have to answer that question one more time. Another thing is asking Alexa the weather in the morning. I've had periods of time, we don't do it every day, but I've had periods of time where my kids will ask that in the morning and then they'll chart the response. It also helps when it comes to what should they wear when it comes to going outside for recess and for playing. They can ask what the weather is to be expected for the day. And again, it makes them conscious of that concept as well. 10, this is my favorite, and this is probably the most unknown, at least to me it was, features that you can use for your homeschooling, and this is the games feature on Alexa. When I first found out that there were games that you could play on Alexa, I really thought, honestly, it was kind of a lame thing. Why would you want to play games with your device? I don't get it. But anyways, I've actually found some fun ones, and I wanted to share a few of my favorites with you guys. And first is Mathmania. It is a math trivia game. So with that, you can choose different modes, like you heard. You can actually choose an addition mode, a subtraction mode, you can do an intermixing mode, you can do a money mode, fractions, a multiplication, division, algebra, whatever it is. But it will do trivia things with your kids. And so it's really fun for them to play. Another fun one is Spelling Bee. You can actually run a spelling bee, and you can do it with one or multiple players, and it will quiz the kids. Now, I will say with this one, while this is a fun one, this whole Alexa understanding kids' voices thing can really become frustrating with this one. You want to have your kids get up close when they're talking into Alexa so that it understands, because each letter can be hard for it to pick up. So it's definitely fun for older kids. For younger ones, it may take a little bit more work and may not be worth the frustration. Other great ones is 20 questions. So you actually think of something in your mind. Alexa will give you a category like animal or whatever. You think of one in your mind, and then it will ask you 20 questions. And my husband actually did this with Alexa, and it got incredibly close. And he had picked something obviously very specific and very hard. And so that's a fun thing to keep the kids interested and going as well. I'm sure there are so many more uses that you can use Alexa for, and I would love to hear if you guys have used it in your homeschooling or just in your home life, how you use it. Comment below and tell me how you use it, or if there's a favorite game or app that you like to use. I would love to hear about it. I hope this has been helpful to you, and I hope that you guys will subscribe. I post videos every Wednesday and Saturday on making the most of the little moments in homeschooling, home management, parenting, and everything in between. And every Saturday in February, I'm going to be talking about my favorite digital technological resources out there for you guys. So I hope you guys will tune in, and I will talk to you later. Bye.